in honor of Veterans Day, we have a lot of our local veterans traveling to schools to talk to the kids about what it means and the history behind it. These guys are part of the local VFW post, Holy Cross out of Minturn, and we have Dana Whalen, and she was in the Air Force. We also have Bill Welsh, and he was one of the Marines. And you guys were at Brush Creek Elementary, and you had an opportunity to do an assembly and then also go in the classroom and really tell the kids what it was like to serve our country. Bill, what is that like for you?
Well, I think what it gives us the opportunity to explain from a personal point of view what our experiences were like, our sacrifices, and as opposed to just the history books, the dry history books.
Yeah, and you were in Vietnam, and we were showing people on the map, the kids where this all was, and it is really interesting for them to get a perspective of how far you traveled and what it was like back then, too.
You're 10,000 miles away from home, and you didn't have a cell phone, you just had letters. That's your main sense of communication.
Yeah, and then Dana, you were able to explain what your journey was like, joining the Air Force and the different opportunities you had. And, where he was kind of talking more about being in the trenches and in the jungles, you were talking about education and travel and a lot of opportunity.
Absolutely. It's fascinating to hear all the veterans' different experiences, and they're all very diverse. But one of the really most interesting things about military service is the training that we get, and the idea that service members are very well trained for their jobs and really able to take on lots of different challenges.
Okay. And what do you think about the questions you get from some of the kids?
Some of the
that must be interesting.
Questions are very revealing and interesting, and what did you eat and how did you eat and things like that they have no concept of, but it's very stimulating to get their questions.
Yeah, and it's nice to open up their minds to thinking about what you do and thinking about all the veterans. This is a day to honor veterans. And what do you like about coming into the schools?
Well, I think the thing that's most meaningful to me about the Veterans Day events is giving kids that may have no exposure to military service the opportunity to hear stories of veterans. Hopefully it will inspire them to go home and ask their families about service members that they had, family members that have served, and really a chance for them to just take a moment to appreciate and have some gratitude for what so many people have done for our country.
Yeah, and it's neat to see you guys in uniform and for them to see these uniforms up close. A lot of times they just see them in photos.
And to piggyback on the comment about visiting with veterans, my dad didn't see me until my second-year-old birthday, and I wish I had asked him, because he was serving in World War II in Europe, more about it, but I never thought to, and he didn't seem to volunteer. So doing these presentations give us a chance to get out our stories, and actually helps us a lot, I think.
Okay, well, thank you guys both for your service and what you're doing here in Eagle County, talking to the school kids. So Veterans Day on Monday, the 11th. Thank a vet if you have the chance.